I would like to acknowledge that we meet on Aboriginal land, the land of the Whadjuk Noongar people. I would like to pay respect to their elders past and present.
Good morning everybody and welcome to the Ellenbrook Secondary College Anzac Day Commemoration Assembly for 2020. Today, as a college, we recognise the efforts of Australian and New Zealanders who lost their lives in war and for those who are currently serving in our armed forces both at home and overseas. Anzac Day goes beyond the anniversary of the landing on Gallipoli in 1915. It is the day we remember all Australians who served and died in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping operations. The spirit of Anzac, with its human qualities of courage, mateship and sacrifice, continues to have meaning and relevance for our sense of national identity.
Charles Hutchins, rank Private 307, born circa 1892, Busselton area, Western Australia. Service 6th of March 1915 to 9th of March 1921. Died 16th of August 1952, Cougra, New South Wales.
Charles Hutchins was born in the Busselton area of Western Australia around 1892. He was the son of Annie Harris and a bush worker, Charles Hutchins. Annie was the daughter of a highly respected stock hunter and farmhand Timothy Harris and Caroline Mullaney, who were both of Aboriginal descent. By the age of 3, Charles had been placed in the vast native and half-caste mission under the care of Charles Layman and his wife Catherine. Following the death of Charles Layman in 1900, Charles was fostered by Catherine's sister Eleanor Guerin, a teacher and a boarding house keeper in Busselton. The Chief Protector of Aborigines in Perth provided Eleanor 4 pence a day for maintenance as well as a suit of clothes and a blanket for each year. Charles attended the Busselton State School from around 1902 through to 1907.
Prior to enlisting with the Australian Imperial Force, AIF, in Bunbury on the 5th of March 1915, Charles had been working as a mill hand at Kirra, some 50 kilometres to the east of Busselton. On his application form, he listed Lucy Price, another sister of Catherine and Eleanor, as his guardian. Within 24 hours of applying, Charles had made his way to Black Boy Hill, where he commenced training, and on the 2nd of June 1915 was assigned to the 28th Battalion.
On the 9th of June 1915, Charles embarked on the HMAT Ascanius A11 at Fremantle along with Larry and Lewis Farmer and James Dickerson, whose life stories also appear in this book. Following a voyage of 20 days during which some 40 to 50 soldiers contracted measles or influenza, the contingent arrived at the port of Suez in Egypt and then travelled by train to Cairo on the 2nd of July. While camped at nearby Abbasia, the battalion underwent further training before moving to Gallipoli from Alexandria on the SS Arvania on the 4th of September. Some 7 weeks after landing, Charles was admitted to hospital at Anzac Cove suffering from debility, which developed into enteric fever. On the 7th of November, he was evacuated to Alexandria and then to Netley Hospital in England.
Charles remained there for the next 12 months, during which time he was attached to the AIF headquarters and then the 7th Tunnelling Battalion, prior to returning to action. On the 26th of May 1917, Charles was admitted to hospital with trench fever. Upon being discharged, he returned to the front line in Belgium, where on the 20th of September, Charles sustained near-fatal gunshot wounds to his thigh, leg and arm, and was severely affected with mustard gas. He was immediately admitted to the No. 3 General Hospital in Bologna, France, where he received Holy Communion with his life in the balance. On improving, he was transferred to England to the No. 2 London General Hospital in Chelsea, where he remained until the 21st of December the following year. Prior to being discharged, Charles received an invitation from Lord Chamberlain to attend a function in the state apartments at Windsor Castle.
During his time convalescing, Charles met Rose Edith Isley, a volunteer worker who he married on the 19th of March 1919 whilst absent from leave from his base at Weymouth. As a consequence, he was charged for evading embarkation and penalised a total of 48 days' pay. On the 19th of April 1919, Charles left England as an invalid on board the HMAT Marathon A74 and disembarked at Fremantle at the end day of May. His wife Rose arrived 6 months later on board the HMAT Mahana. Upon settling in Perth, Charles continued to receive medical treatment until at least November 1920 and was discharged from the AIF on the 9th of March 1921.
The couple remained in Perth until 1945, when they moved to New South Wales to reside close to their daughter, Marjorie Doreen, who had married a serviceman the previous year. Crippled by the wounds to his leg and the effect of the mustard gas, Charles struggled with work and in the later years of his life survived on a small war pension from the repatriation department.
Charles Hutchins passed away at St George Hospital at Coorga, New South Wales on the 16th of August 1952, aged 59 years. His ashes were returned to Western Australia and are scattered along with those of his wife in the Swan River in Perth. Private Charles Hutchins was awarded the 1914 to 1915 Star, British War Medal 1914 to 1920, and the Victory Medal for his military service.
I would now like to introduce the Principal, Dr. Havel, to speak.
So welcome to our virtual Anzac Commemoration Assembly. As you're aware, the Anzac Day, the 25th of April, has already passed. And we didn't hold a normal Anzac Assembly because of the social restrictions that have been applied because of this COVID-19 situation, pandemic. However, this commemoration is an important part of Australian culture and it can't be forgotten. Hence, we are streaming into your classrooms this virtual assembly. So what is an Anzac commemoration? It is a day that's set aside so that we'll never forget the sacrifice of Australians who have died at war serving this country. These brave people who sacrificed their lives are responsible for our present freedom, the opportunity to make many choices in the way we live. The Anzac tradition is traced back to the Gallipoli campaign where the Australians were fighting the Turks. The New Zealand Army Corps, or the Anzacs, conducted themselves in the theatre of war in such a way that it's become a legend, a tradition that's built around stories. They demonstrated the qualities of strength and bravery in the face of adversity. The Anzac tradition is where we remember the sacrifice of the armed forces as they fought an external enemy who threatened our society. Today, we're fighting an external enemy, but it's a virus. However, we have an Anzac spirit where we engage in this battle to preserve the best we can, the way of life we've all come to love. This Australian way of life can be typified in the freedoms that we enjoy, the great outdoors, engaging in a sport, holding a family get-together, going to a restaurant, going for a swim at a beach, attending a church service or a concert. The Anzac spirit has come to stand for the qualities of endurance, courage, ingenuity, good humour and mateship. We obey the rules related to slowing down this virus because they're aimed at protecting all of us. We wash our hands with soap for 20 seconds. We keep the appropriate 1.5 metres if we can. We cough or sneeze into our arms. We use a tissue when we bin it. We stay in contact with friends that may be isolated from the school because of medical conditions that makes them susceptible to the virus. We show concern and compassion for a friend that may be ill. We help a family, where the breadwinner has become unemployed and they're experiencing financial difficulties. We have courage. We stand up for those who put you down or mock you for doing the right thing. Don't let them stop you doing what is right and caring for others. And then there's perseverance. We maintain these rules around stopping the virus so that we can enable our hospitals to treat those who contract it. The spread has now slowed dramatically, but we will not return to normality until a vaccine is developed. Then there's ingenuity, like the way we're learning to adjust our ways of communicating and running the House Assembly or the system. We're running this assembly in a virtual way, and we need to thank those who are designing the new ways to run competitions in the college. Society has had to adapt to new ways of running businesses, communicating with families and friends, and the life of isolating in our homes. Today we remember the sacrifice of those who in our armed forces lost their lives to protect the freedoms that we enjoy living in Australia. Let us not to forget that we're all in this together. To stop the spread of the COVID-19 virus, let us care about our mates, acting in a way that exemplifies that Anzac spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Havel. In Flanders Fields is a poem describing the colour and life returning to a war-devastated landscape. To read Flanders Field, Kaylin Sutherland.
In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep through though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Part of the tradition of the Anzac is to lay wreaths to commemorate fallen soldiers. During the First World War, red poppies were among the first plants to spring up in the devastated battlefields of northern France and Belgium. In soldiers' folklore, the vivid red of the poppies came from the blood of their comrades, soaking the ground, and so now we, as a community, lay wreaths and poppies to commemorate the fallen Anzacs.
The last post is a number of bugle calls in military tradition, which marks the phases of the day. Where revel is signalled at the start of a soldier's day, the last post signalled its end. It is believed originally to have been a part of a more elaborate routine known to the British Army as tattoo. During the evening, a duty officer has to do the rounds of his unit's position, checking that the sentry posts were manned and rounding up the off-duty soldiers and packing them off to their beds or billets. He would be accompanied by one or more musicians. The first post was sounded when the duty officer started his rounds, and another bugle call was sounded when the party completed their rounds, when they reached the last post. This signalled the night sentries were alert at their posts and gave one last warning to any soldiers still at large that it was time to retire for the evening. Last post serves as a final farewell and symbolises that the duty of the dead is over and that they can now rest in peace.
The ode will now be read in both English and Maori by Emmanuel Villalowski and Tamati Lawrence, followed by the last post, 1 minute silence, and the rouse. Please stand.
E kore rātou e kaumātuatia. Pēnei ia tātou kua mahui nei, e kore hoki rātou e noikore. Ahakoa pēhea I ngā āhuatanga o te wā. I te hekinga atu o te rā, tai noa ki te aranga mai I te ata. Ka maumahara tonu tātou ki a rātou. Ka maumahara tonu tātou ki a rātou.
They shall grow now old, as we that left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Lest we forget. I'd like to introduce Henny Fenau-Few to sing the New Zealand National Anthem and Ruby Oliver to sing the Australian National Anthem.
E hoa atua o ngā iwi mai. God of nations, at thy feet. In the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our free land. God, Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God, defend New Zealand. Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
In 1953, the City of Perth Regiment, the 11th Infantry Battalion, adopted Sussex by the Sea as their regiment march because of its official alliance with the Royal Sussex Regiment of the British Army. In 1960, the battalion became absorbed into the Royal Western Australian Regiment, and although taking 7 years to make it official, they took their march, Sussex by the Sea, with them. Thank you to our school community for joining us to commemorate Anzac Day.